Today is Monday the 6th of February. In Battle Drill devotionals this week, we hear God's people cry out for help and God's answer through his covenant, reminding us that God knows the best time to act. Our passage for this week is Exodus chapter 2 and verses 11 to 25. Today we're reading from the New Living Translation. Moses escapes to Midian. Many years later, when Moses had grown up, he went out to visit his own people, the Hebrews, and he saw how hard they were forced to work. During his visit, he saw an Egyptian beating one of his fellow Hebrews. After looking in all directions to make sure no one was watching, Moses killed the Egyptian and hid the body in the sand. The next day, when Moses went out to visit his people again, he saw two Hebrew men fighting. "Why are you beating up your friend?" Moses said to the one who had started the fight. The man replied, "Who appointed you to be our prince and judge? Are you going to kill me as you killed that Egyptian yesterday?" Then Moses was afraid, thinking, "Everyone knows what I did." And sure enough, Pharaoh heard what had happened, and he tried to kill Moses. But Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in the land of Midian. When Moses arrived in Midian, he sat down beside a well. Now, the priest of Midian had 7 daughters who came as usual to draw water and fill the water troughs for their father's flocks. But some other shepherds came and chased them away, so Moses jumped up and rescued the girls from the shepherds. Then he drew water for their flocks. When the girls returned to Reuel, their father, he asked, "Why are you back so soon today?" "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds," they answered, "and then he drew water for us and watered our flock." "Then where is he?" their father asked. "Why did you leave him there? Invite him to come and eat with us." Moses accepted the invitation, and he settled there with them. In time, Reuel gave Moses his daughter Zipporah to be his wife. Later she gave birth to a son, and Moses named him Gershom, for he explained, "I have been a foreigner in a foreign land." Years passed, and the king of Egypt died, but the Israelites continued to groan under the burden of their slavery. They cried out for help, and their cry rose up to God. God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He looked down on the people of Israel and knew it was time to act. Amen. What do you do when you feel hopeless, surrounded by worry or conflict, or plagued by depression and guilt? The Israelites, God's people, were in slavery in Egypt. Even the death of the king had not freed them from their oppression. They were at rock bottom, hopeless. In their suffering, they looked up to God. They groaned and cried out for help. They begged God to fulfill his promise to bring them out of Egyptian slavery. Some problems can only ever be overcome through prayer. Institutional oppression like slavery could only be overcome through God's intervention. You may have deep-rooted problems or a sudden, deep crisis. That requires persistent prayer, speaking over and over to God. The God, as Exodus tells us, that sees your hopelessness and is ready to act at the right time. If you're feeling hopeless today, don't despair. Instead, look up to God and reach out to him in prayer. He is listening and he's ready to answer. As you reflect on these thoughts today, these questions might help you go deeper. Have you ever wondered if God has forgotten you in your troubles? Can you look back now and see his hand in your situation? I hope to see you again soon for another Battle Drill.